What's good, good people? This is your girl Anna Deshawn,
And your boy Jace William.
right here on E3 Radio, your number one stop for queer radio done right. You can always tune in 24/7, 365 at the number 3 radio.fm for the best in queer and independent music, because we're playing that in high rotation, fam. And so it is dope to be with you for another Monday, another, weekend recap right here on E3 Radio, stopping the music.
Yes. And we'll be back right after this brief message.
That was all official. That's right. we is official these days after this brief message.
Hey, we've been official.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it.
I think I've been listening to a lot of voiceover and commercials, and I'm like, oh, okay. And we'll be right back.
Indeed. That is pretty much how it goes.
Oh, man. Well,
so how you feeling?
Man, I'm grateful. Today the sun is still, shining at whatever time this is, 5 p.m. And it's been, we're puppy training. And so it's always an adventure here in the Smith-Stein house. So I'm feeling tired, I think, as if I had a newborn. Wait. I think this is what may feel like, just different, probably.
I think it feels a little bit different with a human, but I think there are some similarities.
Some similarities, yes.
100%.
But I'm feeling grateful, grateful for the experience and the sun today.
And the sun. That's real. That's real.
What about you?
I'm feeling pretty good today. It was a busier weekend than I expected, but it was good. Saw some family this weekend. Did some things outside. I used a weed whacker for the first time ever in my life.
Yes, you are definitely turning into your parents. I just really want us to play that commercial one day.
Well, here's the thing. My dad never touches a weed whacker, so this is not.
And this is chiming in your uncle.
Right. Chiming in all the family members.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so I did that this weekend, and I am finally finding some solace in like outdoor work, which is very strange. I never thought that was part of my DNA. But
yeah. I don't know. It's something about being in the nature. I was listening to the New York Times 1619 Project, and the particular episode that I'm on right now talks about farming, but he also talks about how he owned a sugarcane farm, and in order to cultivate the land and kind of nurture it, he would talk to the seeds and he would talk to the dirt and like really be one with nature. And I was like, yes, because things grow. And I think that the connection and the energy is real, regardless if this is dirt or not. So I feel like it's pretty cool that you are bringing that out and connecting with nature in that way.
Yeah, it's interesting. And it's always been a part of my life in one way or another. My mother has a green thumb. There's been flowers in our house. I've picked weeds all my life. And my sister is always growing some fruit, vegetable or something. But I just never thought I would. But I think COVID and being in the house all day makes me want to get outside, and I got somewhere to go. So
you got somewhere to go. And I'm going to go ahead and plant this seed for you because, we bought some seeds. Our family bought some seeds this last couple of weeks, and we're going to be planting something. But you got to get you a herb garden out there, and start planting your own shit.
Yeah. Your wife wants to do that. One thing at a time. One thing at a time, family. That's what we can handle. So,
another episode.
Tonight, as always on Mondays, we try to do a weekend recap of what's been happening over the weekend, what's been popping off in the news, and how could we do that without starting with the thing that I've seen popping up absolutely everywhere, which is the entanglement.
It's such a great word for it, I suppose.
It's a
It's a PC word.
it's
Uh,
a word, I guess.
I guess. It's funny because that's the buzzword, right? That's the word that we're hearing now. Is this whole entanglement? So her choice of words, it's always interesting how they paint pictures for us. Um, yeah,
Let's play the
but
clip. Let's play the clip.
I'm like, have they seen it?
Yeah, let's just play the clip and let's just talk about this right here.
As promised, Jada Pinkett Smith brought herself to the red table, and surprisingly, her husband Will Smith joined her. They talked about pain, healing, and yes, Jada's entanglement with August Alsina.
It's all love.
Recently, Alsina revealed to the world that he was involved in a relationship with Jada while she was still married. And even though statements were released denying the affair, Pinkett Smith is now reluctantly confirming that the relationship did indeed exist.
It's a situation that I consider private.
You just feel like it ain't really nobody's business. But now Black Twitter has claimed it as their business.
During the 12-minute Red Table Talk episode, Jada sat down with Will to explain how she met August 4.5 years ago. But the friendship didn't turn into something more until she and Will were ready to call it quits.
You and I were going through a very difficult time.
Yeah.
And we decided...
I was done with your ass.
Yeah, you kicked me to the curb.
I was done with you.
Yeah.
Marriages have that, though. Marriages have that.
Yeah, we basically, we broke up.
And then what did you do, Jada?
Well, I think from there, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
Yes, we know entanglement is vague as hell, but thankfully, Will pressed her to be more clear.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
A relationship?
Yes, it was a relationship. Absolutely.
We also got clarity on the misconception that Will gave August permission to sleep with his wife.
The only person that could give permission in that particular circumstance is myself.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. But what August was probably trying to communicate, because I could actually see how he would perceive it as permission, because we were separated amicably. Yeah. And I think he also wanted to make it clear that he's not a homewrecker.
Now, if you're like us, you're probably wondering why August? Well, we'll let Jada explain it.
I just wanted to feel good. It had been so long since I felt good. And it was really a joy to just help heal somebody.
Eventually, August broke things off and they haven't really talked since. And the Smiths claim they are now stronger than ever.
We ride together.
We die together.
Bad marriage for life.
For HipHollywood.com, I'm Vanessa Barnett.
Bad marriage for life.
Fist bump.
What are your thoughts? I mean, I watched it and I was very much like, the only reason I watched it, I think, is because I saw it trending on Black Twitter, of course, and I was like, what is going on? We're in a pandemic. Fucking
Right.
We're dealing with that and racism and all this other shit. Jada and Will are trending. Why?
Because people need a break. I
do get it. They need a break.
I think so much of this is because folks need a break. I also think that Will and Jada's relationship has always just sparked interest because they've just done things differently than traditional Black couples have done them. I also think that they're just extremely famous. Like there are famous celebrities, and then there's like Will and Jada's celebrity level.
Yeah.
Especially when you account for their kids and the numerous generations that then know them because of their kids, who may not know who they are at all, especially Jada.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that how they raised their kids was not a traditional Black way. And I think that how they have relationshiped themselves is also not the traditional Black way. I mean, there's always been things and like rumors that they have an open relationship.
Yeah.
And I also think that that's okay. But I think that, when you talk about traditional Black spaces, those are not relationships that Black folks be all about. And I saw this great meme, or I think Manny wrote it, and he was like, "Straight people, entanglement. The queers, it's an open relationship. Get over it."
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
it's like it's old news here in queer land.
yeah, yeah. And I guess for me, like I think that's the point that I was like, well, I always assumed early on that they had an open relationship of some sort or some type of agreement. That was what I realized, like, oh, this is what it is. Can you hear me? No. All of a sudden, it just went away. Can you hear me now? But wait a minute. I'm still in here.
I left and came back. Maybe it was me.
I think it was you because I was like, I'm still in here. I didn't. But I think you're back. I always thought that it was an open relationship. So for me, I thought, oh, they do that. That's normal. But I get it. I get how Black Twitter can, have at it for them, and I get the celebrity, and I also got when I looked at the whole video, like I think I was paying closer attention to Will's face and his body language. Like, how do you really feel about this?
So how did you take it? I didn't watch the whole video. I
watched the whole thing. It wasn't too long, 17 minutes of my life. I think that he was processing, and I think he did that. He got on with her because he loves her, and they've been 25 years. Like, they've had some shit go on in their relationship, and to be together for 25 years, I think we know that a lot of people have stuff, and everybody's stuff ain't on broadcast for the whole world to discuss. But people all have things that come up, I'm sure. But it looked like for them that they had worked through it. That's the understanding I got, that they worked through it when it initially happened. And now it's being brought back up to the surface after they've already did it, after they worked through it as a couple. So it's kind of like opening back the wound, because I got to relive this now that y'all done caught up the world. I got to relive this. And then we got to have a discussion when we've dealt with it, or we've processed it, or we've like moved on. And I think that I feel like I saw that in him of like, we here, I'm respecting her and I'm giving space. But we done dealt with this shit. I done dealt with this shit. Cause he was like, never again. He made it very clear, like, I don't want this again. So I think, he loves her, and like, hey, we love through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, I feel that. I also think that it makes such a big deal because I think people, when you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, people have these ideas around what they would do if someone cheated on them.
Yeah.
So I think it goes back to this whole, if my man cheat on me, if my woman cheat on me, if my person cheats on me, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Right. There's this narrative that is exactly what you're supposed to do when you end up in that type of situation in your relationship. But with the Q crew, me and Brandy have had this argument many times because, she holds a very firm line on this stance. And I'm just like, that is not a deal breaker.
Yeah. And I think too, like, I don't think it's a deal breaker. I also think like there's something about communication and being able to go into things knowing that your relationship is going to evolve, and being courageous enough to say like, hey, I have an attraction or something else. And what it sounded like for them particularly, that she was not being fed emotionally, spiritually, like she wasn't getting what she needed, and they needed a break. Like neither one of them wasn't getting what they needed. They needed a physical break from each other. And while they had their break, she went and entangled herself for
you will not use that word.
For healing of somebody else, or healing of the release or whatever. But then she also talked about like her own journey, her own human revolution, as she did that, her evolving through this experience. And so I don't think it's a deal breaker. I do think the lesson is like, you got to communicate what your needs are and when they ain't getting met. And most of the time I wrote a song called Red Flags because you see the signs. You might just ignore that shit. But you can tell when you're kind of moving away from your partner, I think.
Yeah. It be writing on the walls.
That's another song. I don't know who that is.
I don't know. I just made it up.
Oh, look at you.
You know, I was creative. But that's been trending everywhere. Entanglement. Y'all, we're going to have a Small World Collective on the show next week.
Yes.
They talk about polyamory, their relationship. They got a virtual event going on around this discussion, how they live their life, all that good stuff. We're excited to have that crew join us and continue this conversation. I think it's a very good topic.
I think it's a wonderful topic, and I think that it's so needed in our community. I don't think we talk about. There's no. I don't know if there's a taboo around the topic of open relationships or polyamory, of like all these things, and I really feel like it can be healthy versus having people cheat.
Yeah,
because they needed something and they just couldn't come to you and say like, I need this. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I don't care, but I need this in addition to. Right. And I think I'm excited to hear what they have to say and how they choose to live out their love. I'm ready.
The Chronicles, Ujo. I think you're right. There will be Chronicles on this. This will not be the last time you hear about it here on Stop the Music.
Yes, Lord.
All right, y'all. That was fun.
We got some other stuff happening.
We do, because there's lots of other things happening here in Chicago and in the news. One of which be these two gentlemen from Chicago.
You know, and I saw this a little bit later in the day. I don't know where I read it. Was it Hollywood something? I can't remember who I read it. I read a lot of newspapers. But I was like, why is Chance trending? Here I am. Black Twitter, y'all know y'all be doing the most. Apparently, I read last week Kanye was he wanted to run for president. Which, you know, I mean, everybody thinks they could do it.
Let me be clear. Since 45 did it, absolutely everyone believes they can do it.
Everyone thinks they can do it.
I think since Barack Obama became president, it was like, oh snap, a black person really became president, which even I never thought would happen in my lifetime. Not something I ever thought about happening in my lifetime. Yeah. Right. And then 45 gets in, and then you're like, oh hell yeah, I can do it.
You can do it. I mean, if this is what it comes down to, like,
I absolutely have
you can do it. Everybody has a chance.
Then this school comes out, of course. You know.
Yeah, you know, I y'all talk about the old Kanye, and I'm still trying to understand this. I don't really think I have enough. I don't care enough to try to understand him, but I hear stuff, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess that's normal behavior for you. And keep it moving. Chance, on the other hand, he came back and reneged a few times in his stream of messages. But I understand for Black liberation. I get that's his homeboy. Somebody had a really cool meme, was like, you just trying to get another feature. You trying to get another Ye feature. Right. And so, you know, Chicago, let's do better. Chance.
But I think it's okay if you want to support your friend. But I think you have to phrase it like a joke. I think his tweet seemed more.
It seemed serious, right? Right. And I think that's why they went after him, because they was like, "What the like."
You know, it must really suck to not like be able to do social in a fun way. Everybody just takes everything you say seriously.
Yeah.
But I think you just have to always be conscious about sharing. It's just not real.
It's not real. And I think, yeah, to your point, when you have a certain status, as they both do in celebrity, your business ain't your business no more. And it should be, to me, I think you should have private space, right? But apparently the world says otherwise. Like, you ain't get to be private no more because you out in the open.
Right. Get entangled and everyone cares.
Everyone cares. Everyone cares, but we don't care about Day down the street doing that shit.
We don't care about passing them either. Okay, passing them either.
Oh, let's not get on that one.
But yeah, no Kanye for 2020. Okay, fam. Let us leave that.
Let's leave that one alone.
Let's leave that alone. Okay. Chicago Marathon is canceled.
Oh man. You know.
Only the second time ever in the history has it ever been canceled.
Was it a heat wave the last time? I don't know why.
Oh no. But this time, friends, it is canceled.
And we know COVID is canceling a lot of things, which I, got a bunch of refunds back for races I signed up for that they were like, we're not going. And I got one with a bag and I didn't even get to run. I was just like, I don't thank you for this shirt. I would have rather had my money back. But for the health and safety of the greater good of the people, we get it. It's sad for the folks who really was looking forward to it, because I know every year it's a big deal for a lot of runners out here that want to qualify for stuff. So
yeah,
there'll be more. There'll be more, guys.
It'll happen again, friends.
Yeah,
we get an opportunity to train for another 26.2 miles.
Yes, Lord.
Woo! I don't know if I'm ever doing that again.
You are a brave one. I just want these knees to work so I can at least do it once in my life.
That's real.
Like, I think I have a goal of like, if I can do it once in my life, I think you did good.
Heck yeah, that's how I feel. You did good.
Yeah, you did good.
Every time it's hard, I'd be like, you ran a marathon, mother sucker, you can do this.
Yeah, so
that's about as far as I get.
You can't be like, these 5 miles, they kicked my butt. No, they did.
No, I know it kicked my butt. 26.2 kicked my butt. Okay?
Yes, Lord.
That's it.
Oh, man.
All right, fam. Also, over the weekend, shootings in Chicago. 60 something.
I think it's 64 with 16 fatalities or something like that. I think those are the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, let's see. This story was updated at 12:45 p.m. off ABC. 64 shot, 11 fatally just over the weekend. How is that even possible in 3 days?
I think we keep going back to somebody said something last time we were talking about violence, and I had to remember, like, we don't necessarily know the demographics of the individuals that was included in the shootings this weekend. I just go back to the value of life. Like, I think I saw a post that's been really sitting with me the most is, 11 children at one point. It was a couple weeks ago when it was just around the country in general. 11 babies, between 2 and like 17 were killed when we had all those shootings over the weekend. At one time, I think it's 100 and something. And so I think for me, it's like summertime in the Chi, we know it's hot outside, people outside. We would think the pandemic would slow people down a little bit, but folks are outside and folks have access to weapons. We already know how we feel about police and like not feeling safe to call, whatever. A lot of different layers to it. I'm just trying to understand, like, why. It's like, I don't get it, y'all.
It just boggles my mind. There's like the long-term solutions, and then it's like, what do you do about the right now? Like, how do you stop this from happening tomorrow? Long-term solutions, of course, are jobs, of course, the prison system, of course, social economic issues, creating jobs for people in these neighborhoods, creating opportunities for people in these neighborhoods, giving them some hope. Like, that's one piece, 100%. But like, how do you stop someone living in these neighborhoods who have no choice? Like, this is where I must live. This is where I have to live. How do you stop 60 more shootings from happening next weekend?
Yeah. And I think that's the part. And I don't know if there's any experts out here who really do intervention work, because I think part of it is too, it's like there's organizations that are doing intervention work around communities that are disinvested in. And I feel like, what are they seeing? What's the work being done and how can others support that work? I'm very curious about that. And to your point, it's a long-term solution, and I don't know what it is right now, because there's a lot of people that are hurting and don't have access to the necessities that they need. And then there's a lot of ego, I think, so much caught up in it, where you can have a small disagreement and you pull out a gun on somebody because you didn't like what they said to you. And I think that's a lot of mental health stuff beyond just like all the other layers to it. And I don't know how you solve that problem. But I was out yesterday briefly, just needed some air. And I was like, man, I'm driving around, and I had to keep on looking at the clock. Like, it's getting late. Like, I don't need to be out here, by myself too long. Then they started fireworks where I was at. Yeah. That sounded like gunshots because they were so close.
Yeah.
Too close for comfort. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to turn and get my butt home, because I want to have peace, and I'm like, I'm grown, man. I could be out here in these streets. I grew up here, man. But then I'm also like, I want to make it home too. And I also just need to be mindful of how late I'm out. There's just a lot of layers, man. A lot of layers.
There's so many layers, and it's just like, we're gonna get some more people on here. We had Tequila on, a week or so ago. There's another group called MAD that I found doing some research, who are teaching young people how to be a first responder in their own neighborhoods in Inglewood, which it's sad that that's even something that's needed.
Yeah.
These young people were talking about how they wish they knew how to do that, because they may have been able to save their brother's life, or they may have been able to save their friend's life who gets shot immediately. So they actually teach young people how to, and I'm sorry, y'all, my sinuses are going crazy right now, how to tie a wound, how to stabilize somebody before the ambulance gets there. They talk through those things. And go through these trainings. And so it seems like an amazing organization. And of course, there's Mothers Against Gun Violence as well. So I think we're going to start having some of these folks on the show to talk about the work that they're doing in the community, because we really just need to hear from them.
Yeah.
Living in the midst of it. And now, as a homeowner myself, my investment in my community is way different than it was when I was renting.
Yeah.
Somewhere else. And so to understand what that means and to understand where they are, I mean, it just gives me a different understanding. So more to come on that.
Yeah. I'm with it. I think, like you said, there's so many organizations doing some great work. And we talk about the investment of the homeowner, I think it's really different. And that's why when I look at how segregated our city is, and when we think about community and the sense of community, like what does community look like, it's definitely different.
Yeah, my boo was just giving me some tissue. My sinus is crazy.
Look at that.
She's always here for me,
That's what you got. She the ace. And I don't know what was other than, we had one more thing.
We had another thing?
Yes.
That's all the things.
We want to have you all support. If you like what you hear, please support us by donating. You can donate below at e3radio.fm. What else? We'll be back here tomorrow. Yes, go ahead. Tell us about tomorrow.
Tomorrow we got Dio is joining us. And they are the principal, right, over at the school. And I can't think of the school's name right now, so don't hold me to it. But what they've done is they've started a GoFundMe. They had back in February a whole campaign around changing Douglas Park to Frederick Douglass Park. And the young people in the school started a whole initiative, wrote letters, city councils. But they recently did a GoFundMe, and it's up to like 12 grand of like 25 grand to get this park renamed. So we're going to have them join us tomorrow, along with a young person who's actually heading up this initiative. So we're going to have them joining us tomorrow.
Very excited. So we want y'all to get y'all pockets ready, right? Because we want to ask you as well to support. If you believe in the cause, to support the cause, and spread the word about the show so that others can come out and watch it as well and support.
That part.
Yes.
And then we'll be back tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Peace.